The first time I saw my CEO outside the glass walls of our office, I thought I had made a terrible mistake. She wasn't standing in a boardroom giving orders. She wasn't surrounded by assistants or investors. She was sitting alone beneath the warm afternoon sun on a quiet beach, wearing oversized sunglasses, reading a weathered document while the waves rolled gently toward the shore. For a moment, she looked less like the woman whose signature could change thousands of lives and more like someone desperately searching for peace. Then she turned toward me with the faintest smile and asked, "Enjoying the view?" Without thinking, without fear, and before my brain could stop my mouth, I answered with complete honesty. "You." Before this incredible journey begins, please take a second to like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to Kindness Legacy if you believe kindness can change lives when success alone cannot. My name was Rowan Mercer, and I never imagined one sentence could rewrite my future. 3 months earlier, my life had completely fallen apart. After 12 years of loyal service at a regional construction company, I lost my job when the business collapsed. The company owner disappeared overnight, leaving hundreds of employees without salaries, insurance, or hope. I had spent every dollar caring for my aging grandmother, who had raised me after my parents died in a highway accident when I was 8 years old. When the bills kept arriving and the savings disappeared, I sold my motorcycle, my watch, and eventually even the dining table where Grandma and I had shared countless meals. Every morning I sent out resumes. Every afternoon I received polite rejection emails. Every evening I smiled in front of Grandma so she would never know how terrified I really was. She believed life always rewarded honest people. I wanted to believe her, but each passing day made faith feel heavier than disappointment. One rainy evening, while scrolling through job listings at the public library because I could no longer afford internet at home, I found an opening for a facilities coordinator at Aurelia Dynamics, one of the fastest growing technology companies in the country. Everyone knew the company's CEO, Celine Ashcroft, as a brilliant business leader who transformed struggling companies into thriving organizations. People admired her intelligence but feared her impossible standards. I applied anyway. Weeks passed with no response. Eventually, an interview invitation arrived. I wore the only suit I still owned, carefully stitching one loose sleeve the night before. The interview lasted barely 20 minutes. The recruiter thanked me politely before explaining they had selected someone with more industry experience. My heart sank, but I thanked them for their time and quietly walked away. Instead of leaving immediately, I noticed an elderly janitor struggling to lift several heavy boxes near the lobby. Instinctively, I helped him without expecting anything in return. We spent nearly an hour organizing storage rooms while talking about life, family, and dignity. Before I left, he smiled warmly and thanked me for treating him like a human being instead of invisible furniture. I never expected to see him again. 2 days later, my phone rang. Instead of offering the coordinator position, Aurelia Dynamics offered me a temporary maintenance assistant role. The pay was modest, but it meant food on the table and medicine for Grandma. I accepted before the recruiter even finished explaining the contract. The office amazed me. Everything moved with incredible precision. Employees respected deadlines, supported one another, and genuinely seemed proud of their work. Yet despite the company's success, I rarely saw the CEO. She spent most of her time traveling between international offices. Months passed. I worked harder than anyone expected. I fixed broken furniture before people reported it. I stayed late without requesting overtime. When coworkers forgot birthdays, I secretly organized small celebrations because I believed kindness made workplaces stronger than bonuses ever could. One afternoon I discovered the elderly janitor from my interview day sitting quietly in the cafeteria. He smiled the moment he recognized me. Only then did he reveal something astonishing. He wasn't actually a janitor anymore. He had retired years ago but occasionally visited old friends inside the company. More importantly, he happened to be Celine Ashcroft's uncle. He admitted he had personally recommended me after watching how naturally I helped someone I believed had nothing to offer me. That single act of kindness had opened a door my qualifications alone never could. Life slowly improved. Grandma's health stabilized. Our electricity remained on. Hope returned. Then everything changed during the company's annual leadership retreat at a coastal resort. Maintenance staff usually remained invisible during executive events, making sure conference rooms, projectors, and accommodations worked perfectly. I spent the morning repairing a broken outdoor lighting system before finally taking a short lunch break near the shoreline. That was when I saw her. Celine Ashcroft sat alone on a wooden beach chair facing the ocean. She wore simple black beachwear beneath a light summer cover-up resting beside her chair, elegant sunglasses shielding her eyes from the bright afternoon sun. Papers rested in her hands instead of a vacation novel. She looked exhausted, not physically, emotionally, as if carrying responsibilities no one else could see. I accidentally stared for a second too long. Without lowering the document, she spoke. Enjoying the view. My heartbeat nearly stopped. The smart answer would have been to apologize. Instead, honesty escaped before caution arrived. You. Silence followed. Then, unexpectedly, she laughed. Not the polished laugh executives perform during interviews. A genuine laugh. She removed her sunglasses, revealing kind but tired eyes. Instead of becoming offended, she invited me to sit nearby. What followed became the most unforgettable conversation of my life. She asked about my family, my work, and why someone with project management experience accepted maintenance duties without complaint. I told her the truth. Pride never paid hospital bills. Honest work always deserved respect. Every job mattered because every person mattered. She listened far more than she spoke. Before leaving, she thanked me for reminding her that sincerity still existed inside corporate walls. The following Monday, rumors spread throughout headquarters. A major investor had withdrawn support. Several executives blamed one another. Departments prepared for layoffs. Fear filled every hallway. One evening, while repairing equipment outside the executive floor, I overheard heated arguments. Some leaders wanted immediate job cuts to protect profits. Others remained silent. The next morning, Celine surprised everyone. Instead of firing employees, she announced reductions to executive bonuses, postponed luxury expansion projects, and personally reduced her own salary to preserve every existing job. Many investors criticized her decision. Employees never forgot it. The company survived. Trust grew stronger than ever. Weeks later, I received another unexpected invitation. This time it came directly from Celine's office. She offered me a position inside operations development, explaining that leadership wasn't measured by titles but by character demonstrated when nobody watched. I accepted with tears in my eyes. For the first time in years, I felt seen. Months turned into a year. Our professional relationship remained respectful, built upon honesty instead of ambition. She often asked for practical opinions because she believed frontline employees understood problems executives overlooked. Together we improved maintenance systems, employee wellness programs, scholarship funds for workers' children, and emergency financial assistance for struggling families. One afternoon she confessed something unexpected. During that beach conversation, she had already decided whether to resign as CEO. Years of pressure had nearly broken her spirit. My simple answer hadn't impressed her because it sounded romantic. It reminded her she was still a human being beyond board meetings, headlines, and financial reports. Someone had looked at her, not her wealth, not her power, but her humanity. That realization gave her strength to continue. Grandma eventually met Celine during a company charity event. Watching them laugh together remains one of my favorite memories. Grandma whispered afterward that truly successful people always made others feel important. She was right. A few months later, Grandma peacefully passed away in her sleep. The grief nearly consumed me. At the funeral, hundreds attended. Friends, neighbors, co-workers, even senior executives. Standing quietly among them was Celine. She didn't deliver a speech. She simply placed white lilies beside Grandma's photograph and stood silently with me. Sometimes compassion needs no words. Years later, Aurelia Dynamics became recognized not only for innovation but for treating employees like family. Other companies copied its programs. Thousands of workers benefited from opportunities created because one leader chose empathy over fear. People occasionally ask how I climbed from maintenance assistant to executive director. They expect complicated strategies. I always smile. It started by helping an elderly man lift heavy boxes. It continued by telling the truth on a quiet beach. Success wasn't built through perfect timing. It was built through consistent kindness when nobody expected recognition. If this story has touched your heart so far, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to Kindness Legacy. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind the world compassion is never wasted. Special request. Comment below with the words, "Kindness always wins," if you believe one sincere act of kindness can completely change someone's life. As I stood years later on that same beach, Watching another peaceful sunrise, I realized life rarely changes because of grand speeches or impossible miracles. Sometimes everything begins with one honest answer, one helping hand, one person choosing compassion over convenience. We never truly know who is watching, whose heart is breaking, or whose future may be transformed by a single moment of genuine kindness. And perhaps that is the greatest legacy any of us can leave behind, not the money we earn or the titles we hold, but the lives we quietly lift when they need it most.